Welcome again to the S.E.M podcast. Jack and Zach are here again tonight, and we're joined by our friend Tye Shumway. Tye, it's good to have you. What part of the world are you calling from tonight?
I am calling from Moab, Utah tonight.
Moab. On top of the Delicate Arch, right?
Exactly. That's right where I'm set up. I'm not on top of it. I'm next to it. I can see it out my window.
Love it. That's great. Well, Tye, thanks for making time for us tonight. We're excited to have you. Just to give a brief rundown of what we'll talk about. We'll talk pre-mission and life before you getting your call and your reaction of going to Scotland. Then we'll talk life since you've been home. Then we'll go back through Scotland, areas, companions, and any memories. So I'm just going to turn the time to you, Tye.
All right. Well, yeah, I can just jump right in. I usually try to talk and ask more questions than I tell, but I'll jump into it and give you guys the quick story of getting the call and everything like that. And I thought about it, but we'll just kind of roll with it and see how it goes. So technically, I was not planning on serving a mission. I was going to be some all-star football player at 5'0" 100 and nothing, and that's what I was going to be.
Nice.
But then I realized, no, the Spirit got a hold of me and told me at about 18 and a half, said, "Hey, you need to go on a mission." So I said, "Oh crap! All right, I better get my life in order and figure this out." So I got things straightened out in order, put papers in, and got my mission call, and it was a pretty cool little experience. Because I had a few people ask me like, "Hey, where do you think you're going to go on your mission?" Like the whole thing, like, "Hey, what are all the guesses? Where are you going to go?" My granny B, she asked me where I was going to go, and I told her I'm going to go to Scotland on my mission. And
you really did?
I really did.
That's amazing.
The only reason I do that is because I said that is because I loved Braveheart when it came out. A couple jobs I had, I would work at Subway, and we'd have people come from England, Scotland, all over, and I would always just start talking to them in or what I thought was a Scottish accent at the time. And so many people, like all my other like coworkers, were so embarrassed and so mad that I'd start talking like that just to mess with them.
That's great.
And so I was like, yeah, that's where I'm going to go. And then and so I come from a large family. There was 12 siblings, kind of a mixed family. So
Okay.
there was quite a few of us. So we sat there, we did the whole classic. I opened up and start reading, and of course, like I think like anyone else, I read Edinburgh, Scotland mission instead of Edinburgh.
Yeah.
But the minute that came out, like I didn't even get done saying, I said Scotland, and my sister ripped the mission call right out of my hands. Like I didn't even finish reading it. She's like, "No way, you're lying!" Like no one believed me. You know, I'm a little bit of a sarcastic guy, and so I couldn't blame them. But once I read that, they ripped it out, and sure enough, it said that, and then I didn't even finish reading my call. Like my sister started reading through it. She's the one that told me I was going to go to the Preston, England MTC, and like that I was. Oh, okay. So I don't even remember anything else other than I think then she gave it to my mom, and they're like, "All right, let's get things prepared." And so that was kind of like how I ended up opening my call and getting called to Scotland, and yeah.
What was the timeline of that? When did you enter the MTC?
I entered the MTC November 15th, 2000.
Okay.
Yeah, there was only one other missionary from Utah at that time, and so I think you interviewed him, Mark McCormack. Me and him were the two Utah missionaries that came out the same time together. But it was a pretty fun group.
Love it
with us.
Cool. So November of 2000 to going home November of 2002?
Yeah, yep, exactly.
Okay.
Yeah,
well, catch us up on what life's been like since November of 2002.
All right. So yeah, I got home. Just kind of like I was telling you beforehand, I kind of grew up being a contractor. I'd go live in the summers with my dad. He was a plumber, so I'd go live in Provo, Heber, loaded. We kind of do apartment complexes. So I just grew up kind of working with him in the summer. So when I got home, I finished up a quick degree, just generals, but I knew I was going to be a contractor. So I ended up going up to UVU, ended up getting my construction management degree. Me and my wife moved to Salt Lake and then worked for, I graduated. I just busted through college to try to, because I just knew people just wanted a piece of paper. They didn't really care if I knew anything. They wanted that piece of paper. So, and I wasn't very smart. So I was like, you know what? I'll go, if I can get that piece of paper, it doesn't matter from there on. And it hasn't really, to be honest with you. Like, no, that's easy. It's like, yep, you check that mark, you got the piece of paper. So went to school. I got married to my high school sweetheart. We dated off and on ever since like 7th grade.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. I was not the best of boyfriends growing up, but straightened myself out and a lot better husband. But she still holds that over my head. But
Good, good
but
job, Tye. Were you guys dating when you went on the mission, or did you guys part ways and say what will be type of a thing?
No, we were riding and dating. But I was, yeah, we were dating. I ended up kind of dear Janing her on my mission, and so when I got off, she hated me. Or not, didn't appreciate what I had done to her, kind of thing. And I kind of was like, oh, what am I thinking? I saw her. It took me probably about 4 months to even get her to talk to me after my mission.
Oh my gosh.
She's really good friends. Like we grew up small town, grew up in a little town called Blanding, Utah, which is an hour south of Moab where we live right now. But yeah, my sister and her, they were my stepsister, same age, same friend group. There's a whole bunch of us knew each other, and they're like, oh, you should go talk to her and keep hounding. And I'm like, oh yeah. And anyway, she was looking pretty good when I'd see glimpses of her, and I think my sister really conned her into coming back and talking to me and everything. And then yeah, so we kind of started talking, and then it just took off from there. We got married about 9 months later.
That's great.
And, little hometown, but yeah, we knew each other. She's actually probably better friends with some of my siblings than I am, to be honest with you.
Nice.
So she's awesome. We love her. We have 3 kids. We have, our oldest is just graduating high school this year. She just turned 18 last month, and she's pretty excited. She's a homebody. We have a 14-year-old daughter that's just graduating 8th grade and is going into high school, and so we'll have that. And then we had a son who passed away when he was 16 months. So we did have 3 kids, yeah. But we believe in the gospel and all the good Lord, whether good or bad, we'll be able to see him. You know, I'm hoping he'll come visit me where I'll be sometime.
Well said.
Yeah. That's what I tell my wife and kids. I'm like, hey, it's going to be just like regular life. You guys you'll see me every once in a while. Like, just come visit me and we'll call it good. But
oh man, that's great.
No, so we had 3 kids. Just pretty much went the career path of construction. So I worked for many commercial contractors, industrial contractors for 20 odd years. I had the last company I'd worked for moved me down to Moab 10 years ago because we were living up in West Point by Syracuse and Layton and Clinton and all that.
Yeah.
And then they knew I talked redneck. I look redneck. So they said, hey, why don't you go down to Moab? You fit right in and build us a dinosaur park down there. So on the north end of Moab, it was a 9-month project. Just go down for 9 months, build this, and then you'll come back up. And so I commuted down there for 9 months, finished that, and then 9 years later, I was still down here building all kinds of different things. I built a bunch of hotels for them, office buildings, apartments, and stuff like that. And then about 5 years ago, they're like, all right, come back up. We're ready for you. Come back up to Salt Lake. And I was like, you know what? I like it. This is my jam. So I started my own company in January of 2020. I figured, you know what? That's the year to start a company.
Yeah, we all had those ambitions. I know it.
Yeah. But I did get lucky. It didn't really shut down us too bad. We've company's done well, and just trying to hold on to the tiger by the tail right now is what I tell people. It's like it's just moving and shaking in Moab, and we get all kinds of stuff going on. So that's probably why we had a hard time being. I've got so much happening. I'm trying to tie things down and just hold on to this beast that we got rolling down the hill.
No, and like I said, that's why we value your time so much, Tye. So thank you for making the time for us tonight.
No, this is awesome. This is exciting. I've listened to your guys' what you've been doing and all the other stories of those I haven't heard, those who I do know a little bit about and stuff like that. So this is pretty exciting.
I love it. That's great.
Cool.
Well, jump into the mission. If you want to start MTC, by all means, but let's just start with where you started MTC, or even just jump into Scotland, whatever you want to do.
All right. Well, I will just start like right when I fly out. Obviously it was before, let's see.
9/11, right?
Yeah, it was right before 9/11. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Because but my mom could not put me on that plane faster. She was a little bit. Yeah, she was
pushing you through the jetway. Get out of here.
She was because there's 12 kids, right? So there's and I'm right in the middle, and so she's already been through it. She already knows what it's like, and she has a bunch of others that are coming up. My sister kind of pulled a sneaky one on us. I have a sister that's 3 years older than me, and I got my call in August, and then in September she got her call. Like no one knew she put a call in. Like all of a sudden. She we're like, what? They're putting out 2 missionaries, and my sister left 3 weeks after I did. And
oh wow,
yeah, it was. We were just.
You know where your mom's focus was.
Yeah. She's like, get out here! I gotta get your sister taken care of, and I probably was just more annoying than anything. So yeah, hop on the plane, fly Salt Lake to Chicago, meet up with a bunch of all the other missionaries there, and then we fly into Preston, get into the MTC. The MTC was a different experience. I was super excited that I didn't have to go to the Provo MTC. I don't know if you guys were, but
yes, I was. I heard all the stories growing up. I was like, pass. Tree of life stuff. No, thank you. I'm more than happy to have a shower stall. Thank you.
Yeah. That was one of the things I was probably more excited about than anything. Going to the Preston one. So yeah, I went, got there. I had Elder Nye was my MTC companion. What is his name? I can't remember. Bill. I always called him Bill Nye.
Bill Nye.
Right. But that wasn't his first name. And I was going to look it up before this, but
Robert.
Robert Nye. Yep. He was from Nashville. Not Nashville. He was from Omaha, Nebraska.
Nice.
He was pretty fun, but there, and then MTC, it was a rowdy group of missionaries in there. There's stories that I can probably share after this.
No, share them now.
I don't know. There's some crazy stories. I remember there was Elder Mark Baines, English missionary. Can't remember if he was from Oxford or where he was from. I think he lives in the States now. But he was a little bit bigger than me. Like I said earlier, I'm 5 foot nothing, 100 nothing. I'm a little bit more than 100 nothing now. I might be pushing 200. You guys will have to guess on that, but I'm still 5 foot nothing.
Yes.
Elder Baines was a bit bigger guy than me, and I don't know. I was annoyed. I just know I was. And I was teasing him. The next thing I know, I see this. I was doing something, and he had some kind of anger come across his face, and I was like, oh, crap, this guy's going to come after me. So I run into my room. He flips, or let's see, I go into my room. There's some elders there, and we're on the second floor or third floor. I can't remember. Is it third floor?
Yeah, second floor.
Yep.
Yeah. Anyways, and so I'm like, dude, he's going to come get me. So I jump out the window and hang from the edge, just kind of up there like this. And he comes, where is he? And he's thrown through the beds and stuff like that. And I'm just hanging. And then finally he sees, and he's like, he comes to the window, and I'm just hanging on.
Oh my gosh, you're crazy.
Yeah, well, I was a little. I pushed him to his limits, but he calmed down, and I climbed back in, and we're having a good old time. But the end of that story is the next morning we were all called to gather down because President White wanted to talk to us about missionary conduct and how we're supposed to. Because I guess at that time the temple president was driving past on the
Of course.
M5 or whatever it was that goes right past
the motorway. Oh
the
god.
motorway. Yeah, and he looks out. He says he looked out the window and he saw some missionary hanging from a window, and it was.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Oh gosh.
Wasn't the best. So there's that. Group of guys. That was one of the crazier stories. There's some other spiritual experiences in there that were pretty good. I got one of my great. I never had like a spiritual experience with the scriptures until I got into the MTC, and I did a whole. They started talking about, hey, you should pray before you read your scriptures. I'm like, what? Why would we pray before we read our scriptures? But anyways, I said, all right, I'll try out this praying thing. Obviously, I grew up LDS, and I just like anyone. I didn't have a testimony. I knew it. I did the primary, the church answers. But I said, I better figure this out and get a testimony of my own. And the Lord spoke to me through scriptures, and ever since then, I've built my testimony off of that. So luckily, we've had some challenges in my life. I kind of mentioned one of them that really helps build my foundation and that rock of the Savior that I can lean on. Yeah. So that was a really good spiritual experience. I can get into details later on that, but so that was really good. Had a good time. There was a lot of great missionaries in there that we just had a good time with. I didn't hate it at all. 3 weeks went by too fast in that one. And then let's see, after the MTC, we went up to the mission home. We didn't take a train. We ended up flying because I think the train was broke down or something. So nice. We flew, got picked up at the airport. I don't remember a ton. I remember hiking up. It was late. I do remember it was like pitch black that we were taken to Pratt Hill and told to, dedicate our mission to that. And it was pretty cool.
Probably like 3 p.m. in December.
Yeah, you're probably right. It probably was. I'm like, dude, it's still late, 3 p.m. I don't know. Did that throw you guys for a loop? Like,
oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't realize how far north you are until the sun goes away for 6 months of the year. It's crazy.
Yeah, exactly. I do remember that. Like, I even still today, I'm just like, dude, I'm not supposed to be. Like, I remember thinking, like, I'm looking at stars. Why am I knocking on people's doors right now? This is ridiculous.
Oh yeah, and the people would tell you that too. They're like, "Do you know what time it is?" And we're like, "Yeah, it's 5:53," and they just shake their head and slam the door in your face anyway.
Yep, exactly. Yeah, all the dads looking at you, hey, yeah, get it, get out of here. So yeah, went there. I don't remember much of the splits, because you stayed in Edinburgh that night, and then had the whole day at the mission home where you got your trainer. I had Staley, Chad Staley was my trainer, and my first area. So he picked me up. He took me to my first area at Kilmarnock, just south of Glasgow. And so that was there. I don't know. Did any of you guys serve in Kilmarnock or around that area?
No.
It was an interesting area for sure. So when I got there, there was 4 of us in a flat. It's before they kind of started breaking up the missionaries and trying to get them into their own area. I think that comes and goes as mission presidents or something like that. the missionaries will try to group up, and then mission presidents have to break them up again, kind of thing, as leases expire and stuff like that. But there was 4 of us. Got there was Elder Staley and me, and then Gareth Hughes was in that flat with us. He came out 6 weeks before me, so he was just brand new out. And his trainer, I think, I can't remember. I want to say Elder Smith. We called him Spy versus Spy because he looked just like the dude off of Spy. I don't know if you guys know that cartoon. Yeah.
The really triangle face on Mad TV, I think, is what it was on, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yep. I think that was his trainer. At least that's who I remember. He was an English missionary. They're both there. Gareth Hughes, love that dude. He's good. If you guys can get a hold of him, he's out of Newcastle, which literally, like, one of the things he showed me when we first got there is the train station wasn't too far from our flat, and there was a stop he could get on the train and it could stop just outside of his house in Newcastle. Like, he was not far from home.
That's about as close as you can get to the mission without being in it.
That's true. It's true.
Yeah.
North side of the world in England, that's for sure.
Yeah, I felt he was a pretty homesick guy. He was not happy to be out there. And then here am I coming in, annoying, arrogant son of a gun, like, yeah, let's go preach the gospel. Oh, dude, I felt bad. I'm sure they wanted to kill me in that first couple of weeks. I had to eat some humble pie for sure. I'll tell you that. I was not a very tactful individual at that time either. So Brett Hughes was pretty good and taught me a couple of good lessons, and so I have the most deep respect and love for that guy. I actually reach out to him every once in a while just to see how he's doing. He's a good guy. So let's see. After 6 weeks, my trainer left. Staley took off, and I got an elder. Oh, dang it! I see his note. Elder Alexander Note. Spell his name Noot, and I called him Elder Newt. But he was from Holland, and it's crazy. He was in the last. He'd been out a year and a half, and so almost a year and a half. Yeah, a year and a half. And he was an interesting first European companion I ever had, and it was very interesting to have him. He actually spoke better English than I did. Everyone thought he was the American and thought I was either Canadian or Australian. No one ever thought I was American at all. They always got us confused and called him the American and called me the foreigner, or not American. But he was good, and we got some really good stories there to share. And we had a really good time in Kilmarnock. We got quite a bit of success. It's one of those classic missionary stories that we found a family that we were supposed to find, or that I was supposed to meet. It was literally either the first day or second day that I was with Elder Note, because I was still kind of on that high of the early greenie missionary where I got my new companion and I'm like, I'm going to show him the area. I know everything. I have all these appointments lined up, these callbacks, to go and to go and meet these people. And this is it's really another kind of testimony building experience for me. Like, I want to do this, and I'm going to show this elder how awesome I am. Because I still hadn't been humbled enough yet. But the good Lord decided to do such a thing for me. I remember vividly, like, I get up in the morning and say, hey, we're going to go chap this area. And then we have an appointment at 10 o'clock. This guy, we're going to get in, first discussion, we're going to teach him. Anyways, we come up, chap some doors, get there, knock on the door, and the guy was a no-show. Just kind of your classic, yeah, come visit me, come back, sure, get off my doorstep, come back whenever you want, I'll be here. Anyways, and I'm like, son of a bee, what am I going to do? So he wasn't there, so I'm making something up. I don't want to show my new companion I don't know what I'm doing. right? So I'm like, all right, well, I've got some other people here. Anyways, we go down another street and we knock for another 2 hours, 3 hours. I remember, like, because our next appointment, I'm like, okay, if we're here for an hour, next one's going to be give us a half an hour. We'll be there at 11:30. So we're knocking. Go to that appointment, another no show. Like son of a gun. And my companion, I'm like, I know what I'm doing. Don't worry. And my companion's just like, whatever. He'd been out for 18 months. He's used to it.
Ah,
I'm thinking he's thinking I'm a failure, and I'm feeling like a failure. Um, and so I'm like, all right, well, let's spend our next appointment wasn't until like 2 o'clock, and here it is, 11:30, and we already spent an hour. I'm like, son of a gun. So we go and knock on a couple more doors in some area that we hadn't done before. Nothing. Go take a lunch and sitting there. I'm sitting in my own pity party, and my companion, he's we don't know each other well enough to have conversation, or it was just a little bit different. We weren't really in, and here am I trying to, like, okay, where am I? Got the little book, where we're going to go, what are we going to do until this other appointment? Figure it out, get to the other appointment. Sure enough, no show again. And I'm like, dude, 3 strikes, I'm out. I'm done with this. This is bull crap. I was so mad. Like, dude, this, like, I fail. I suck at this missionary thing. Anyways, feeling pretty pity party. I'm like, let's go down this way. And I let him, he just starts to walk off. We're going, and he gets in front of me. I'm getting this whole, like, oh man, what am I going to do? And so I'm flipping through the book. And I finally did the classic thing where I'm like, oh, dude, I should ask the Lord. Like, why have I not asked the Lord instead of relying on myself, right? So I'm like, okay, here's my humble pie again. All right. So I say a prayer in my heart, and I'm flipping through a book. And I remember vividly, like, every name on that page went blurry, and 32 Chapel Lane, Galston popped up, just like literally leaped off the page. Like, I couldn't see any of the other names, and I'm like, all right, let's, like, I don't know if it went fuzzy, and that's the only one I could focus on because I was so pity partying myself or something. But I'm like, we're going to go here and catch up to the other. And I knew where Chapel Lane was because we had passed it probably 10 times going back and forth that day. Because Galston is not a very big town. It's like a small little village outside of Kilmarnock. And
right.
we were the missionaries that had kind of the outside of Kilmarnock, and the other elders had the city center and stuff. So the classic thing, I'm like, okay, we'll go up here, 3rd floor, unit 2. And I'm sitting here thinking, okay, all right, just please, like, in my head, I'm just praying, like, please be home. Someone just be home. Just answer the freaking door. That's all I want. Just someone to open the door, because we had nothing all day. Here it is, like 2 o'clock in the afternoon. We got nothing. Or almost 3 o'clock, and go there, and I knock on the door, and it's one of those doors that has kind of like full glass, but it's opaque, so you can't really see through it, but you can see like a silhouette.
Right.
And I saw some movement. I'm like, oh. And so I knock again, and like, sure enough, they come to the door, and I'm like, yes, somebody's home. They open the door, and I didn't think about what I was going to say. I'd only been out for 6 weeks, so I had the reflex of, like, oh, hey, we're from the church. I just looked at, it was a lady, just looked at her, and she just looked at me, and she's all, come on in. I'm all, okay. So we go in, and I'm just excited that she answered the door and that we got invited in. That we did the whole first discussion before we introduced ourselves. Before I even said what church we were from, who we were, we just got right into it because I was too excited. Long story short, that was Marilyn King. Her and she was awesome, and her husband Billy King and their 3 kids ended up becoming baptized. We ended up baptizing them and spent the next 6 months in Kilmarnock. Like, I was there for I guess a total of 6 months. The next 4.5 months I was there. Me and Elder Note, we spent that much time. And Marilyn was the first one. It took a while. She had a lot of questions. Her kids had a lot of questions. Her husband was pretty standoffish, but he's an amazing guy. So we spent the rest of the time. She got baptized, 2 oldest daughters, and then Matthew King, their youngest, got baptized. And then literally, I got moved. Like, we ended up moving from Kilmarnock to I got moved to Ayr or Troon. So it was still the same district, 30 minutes down the road. I did not move very far after my first area.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then, so do that. And literally the next week, the elders call me like, oh, yeah, Billy King, he's going to get baptized this week. I'm like, what? I spent 4.5 months in the guy. Like, but
You did exactly what you needed to do, Tye.
yeah. I think it was Elder McCormack that ended up baptizing him or something like that, because he moved in and took over for me. So I knew him, and he Elder Note had the last 6 weeks left. He kind of finishes up his mission there. There's some. If you talk to Martin McCormack again, like, I listened to his, and I thought he would share a couple stories about Elder Note, but he was an interesting individual. We do love him. One story I would share. Maybe. Anyway, no, he would play the guitar. He was a very musical individual and very good at it. But don't sit across from him when he plays the guitar, because he'll just play it and stare at you like this the whole time and sing at you. And you like want to look away, but he's making eye contact with you all the time, and you're just like, oh. And it was hard. I felt bad for some of the members that got trapped in the Elder Note singing vortex, or if you want to call it that. Loved him to death. He was good at it.
Pretty funny.
Anyway, so that was the first area. Second area was Ayr, that we were in. Prestwick, actually, I think is what it was, the Troon area. See, I went in there, and Elder Daniel Strauss is who I ended up. He's from, is he Snowflake or where was Strauss from? No, he was Utah. He was Utah Valley somewhere. I think he ends up in Arizona. I can't remember. Very good violin player, by the way. But I was with him for about 3 weeks, and then he got shipped out of there on an emergency transfer. And I got an Elder Mitchell Nomachit. I don't know if you guys ever heard about him yet or not.
No.
But he's got a unique story. He was a little Filipino guy. He's from Utah, grew up in West Valley, read the Book of Mormon in three days, decided to get baptized and then come on a mission. So he's one of those stories. Bubba Little character wheel. He was interesting also. So he's there. The other elders in the area, we had some sisters and some elders. There were 6 of us in that area. And I spent 6 months in that area. Well, 4.5 months, I want to say. But there was a Clay Stevens. I don't know if you guys know other Clay Stevens. He was in there. I really loved that guy. He was from Kingman, Arizona. And we would go, he was the district leader, if I remember right. And he would save me when I would lose my patience with Elder Nomachit. Because I would call him, he was in a like, I thought I was bad, but he gave me a run for my money. But let's see, he's there. I was there for a while. Other companions, and there were some really good members. Angela and
Gilardi.
Gilardi, yeah. Do you know him, Jack? Then
We've heard their name a lot.
We don't know him, but he is very much famous.
That's right. He was amazing. We got there. I think I got there. His wife been a member for a long time, and he had just been baptized just before or something, and he'd have us over. Yeah, he's a very successful businessman. And he owned a bunch of bakeries, and anytime we showed up to a bakery, everyone would just give us anything we wanted, anytime we went anywhere. He was awesome. He reaches out. He did a really cool thing when my son passed away. He reached out and did some very personal things that I didn't think he would remember me, to be honest with you. But it was pretty good. So he's always got a soft spot in my heart. And in my belly, after we left that area, we had some pastries there. Holy cows.
Well said.
Yeah. Oh. But yeah, that was a really fun area. I had my driver's license by that time, and so we had the car in that area. This is my first car area, and then I spent the rest of my mission in a car, other than my last 6 weeks. So first 6 months walked around, bust, mission, car the whole time, and then the last 6 weeks I got booted out and had to walk. I did not know how to do that. It was tough.
That's
But
the key, though, is once you get that license, you're kind of like a shoe in into some of those car areas. Like I had that experience as well. I was very fortunate.
right. That was my whole game plan, to be honest with you. I spent every dollar, saved every single thing I could to take my driver's license test and take and pay all that stuff in Kilmarnock, because we had a do we have a car in Kilmarnock? Yeah, we had a car in Kilmarnock too, actually. So no, I was in a car other than the last. I was in a car area my whole mission, other than the last 6 weeks. I forgot we had one in there.
It's pretty amazing.
It was because it was right when I got there, they had a lot of cars, but then right when I moved, they got rid of like 90% of the cars.
Whoa.
And so it wasn't very many. And then I ended up getting bounced around to car areas, which I didn't move around a ton. Air did a lot of knocking. It was nothing but knocking on doors. I don't know if I ever even taught one discussion. Members were great there. The Colborn family, Daniel Colborn. I don't know if any of you guys know him, and his sisters.
Heard the name.
Colborn family were amazing. Daniel, we're Facebook friends. We see each other every once in a while. And then Cosby. Dang it. He was actually just here in Moab. He lives in Utah, and he posted on Facebook, and I was like, dude, you're supposed to come say hi, but he was already gone by the time I saw him.
Nice.
But he was good. The O'Leary family, they were a really good family. One of their kids, it's about my age, I think, maybe just a little bit younger. She married a kid from Utah, and they live up in Vernal.
Wow.
So I lived in Vernal for about a year, and we'd hang out and stuff like that. So that was kind of cool. So I see them every once in a while, or somewhere we run into them. We go back up there. But air was fun. Stranraer, I don't know if you guys know that area. It's a very southern part.
Yeah, heard many stories. Yep.
Yeah, it's a crazy place. There's a couple. Oh, here's a gross story for you. We went and had our Thanksgiving dinner it was a mission couple, elderly couple that invited all the missionaries down there for Thanksgiving dinner, right? Maybe Thanksgiving or Christmas dinner. I can't remember, but it was the whole district. We went down there, and we did a zone blitz for them. Went out, and then they fed us dinner for going there. And then we had to catch. It was so far away we couldn't drive our car. It was a long ways away, so everyone got on a bus, and it was like a 2-hour bus ride, and just windy roads, right? So we spent all morning and all afternoon knocking on doors and doing stuff like that, and then had this amazing turkey dinner, mashed potatoes, all the fixins, and then we hop on the bus and start going up those windy roads all the way back to our area. And I won't tell which elder, but one of these elders, he was a little motion sickness, and probably about and not even an hour, maybe half an hour into it, all of a sudden we just hear it in the back, just lets go everything. And the bus driver slams on the brakes. What was that? And it was so late at night. I think it was only us missionaries on there. There was like 15 of us or 16 of us, and everyone bells off just because the throw up smell and we all bell off, and it was just like other people started dry heaving. It started. I don't know if it was outside, but it was just the smell, the sound. It just was bad. The bus driver hopped out to get in fresh air, and everyone's just kind of looking like, "What do we do?" Bus driver, I'm not going to clean that up. Everyone just kind of looked at each other. It's like, I'm not going to clean that up. So I think we stood there for 20 minutes. Nobody wanted to get on the bus and clean it up, and finally, I think me and Jamie Austin, he was the zone leader. We ended up finding like we walked to a little gas station or something that had a bunch of paper towels. We ended up in medium and ended up kind of cleaning it up and throwing it away. But dude, it was like half of the bus, all the way from the back, all the way to halfway, and just from wall to wall, and inch thick turkey chunks, mashed potatoes. It was just carrot. Oh, dude, it was. Oh, I'm actually kind of gonna make myself sick right now. Oh,
Now you have to call out who it was so they
Oh,
can
my
come
goodness.
on and defend themselves, Ty. Who was
Oh,
it? Come on, throw them under the bus, literally.
it was Gareth Hughes. He was the guy. I felt bad
Yes.
for him. I love him to death, but I'm like, I was like, oh, dude, not him. But yeah. But,
Gareth, come on the podcast and tell us your side of the story. We'd love to hear it.
yeah, I want to see if I remember it correctly for sure. I definitely want to because I do remember. Like, I remember vividly. Like, I could see it laying up, like it just floating on the floor, and I was just like, oh, it was so gross.
That's so good. Thanks,
All
Doug.
right. Yeah. Okay, let's see. So there's that. That was a pretty good time back. Good time there. Stranraer Air. I got to mention an Elder Brown, freaking Jeffrey. I call him Jeffrey G. Brown just because he sounded like an apostle every time I said it. From Temecula, California. He came in my last, I want to say my last 6 weeks in that area or 3 months. But we weren't. We weren't. He was companions with Clay Stevens, and I was Norwich. And when we would switch, either I would be with Clay or Jeffrey. And dude, Jeffrey Brown, he was hilarious. He would just tell. The dude had story after story. Like I don't even remember us knocking doors. I think we were just walking streets, and he was just into a story, and I would just be listening. We just kept walking, and maybe that's why we never had success, or I don't remember chapping doors too much, but yeah, dude, he could still tell stories like nobody's business. It was crazy.
Good. We want him to come on the podcast and tell us some of his stories. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, I'd like to see where he's at these days. He always threatened me that he would come rolling through Blanding, Utah, and just bumping something and just embarrass me as much as he could. I never did it, so I'm calling you out, Jeff, dude. I never saw you come through Blanding and embarrass me, man. You gotta figure that out and come back into the area. You'll have to come through Moab to get to Blanding, so we'll figure that out.
There you go.
All right. I'm trying to think if there's any other stories there. What do you guys? Did any of you guys serve down in that kind of Southwest Coast, Air, Troon, Irving?
No.
No? Oh.
I think the closest I got was Hamilton.
Okay, yeah.
But, we were more Highlands boys.
Right.
Up north and East Coast for sure.
All right, well, I'll get to there. My next area goes up into that area. So, let's see, I left Air and I went up to Perth to that area.
Nice.
Yep, I moved from there. So I had been out on my mission, I want to say, for like a year. Oh, just over a year and 6 weeks or something by the time I moved. So I spent my first, within 30 minutes, I knew both, both chapels, all the people in the district. So I hadn't seen much of Scotland, just that southwest coast. Yeah. So finally I get up to Perth, which, they call it Gateway to the Highlands or whatever. They get up into Pitlochry was in our area. Mm-hmm. I got a cool story about that one. So yeah, Pitlochry. I don't know. Did you guys ever go to Pitlochry? Did you ever see that area?
I've heard it, didn't see it though.
Okay,
not that I recall anyway.
It's a pretty good tourist trap because they got Blair Athol Castle there that is still lived in, pretty good castle and grounds and stuff like that, and then pretty high end shops and just a little touristy town village out in the middle of the Highlands. It's a really pretty, got a good river through there. But me and my wife have been back to Scotland a couple times, and actually this is when we took our kids back. I don't want to say this was 8 years, maybe 6 years ago. But we went. I took them to that castle to show the kids and stuff like that. And we were coming out of it, and we were in the car park. And the little gift shop was behind us. there's just all these kind of like movie cameras and stuff like that. And I'm like, what is going on here? Like I didn't like, are they filming something here? What's going on? And finally, I'm like, I'm going to get out. I'm going to check it out. I want to see what's going on. And the main character from Duck Dynasty was over there. They were filming one of the Duck Dynasty like episodes.
On location.
On location there, and I kept trying to like sneak into the camera shot because they were just interviewing and he was just walking through the gift shop and he had these high, like bright red and black, yellow tartan pants that he was wearing. He's totally like forced out, right? Like they're eating it up and doing all stuff like that. And it was kind of cool. So I was like, oh, that was kind of a cool little thing. I don't know. I never watched the episode to see if I ever met myself on camera there or not in the background, but I probably made my family was so mad at me because I kept making the rounds for like an hour. I'm like, well, let's go. We're ready to go. My kids were so embarrassed.
It's hilarious.
That'll be the funnest thing. Do you guys embarrass your kids?
All the time.
Of course.
All the time. Yep. Like there's nothing better than a dad than to embarrass your kids, right?
It's true. They don't know what's coming, and they have to react, and usually they're not very quick on their feet.
Yeah, I have two daughters that just duck their heads and just try to walk away and ignore it. But so I have a good time there. Let's see. So Perth, I want to say Perth. I spent 4.5 weeks there. My companion there was Dustin Clough from Snowflake, Arizona. Is it Snowflake or Sholo? Sholo, I want to say, actually. I think he's still down there. I think he's a coach down in that area right now. But you guys haven't talked to Dustin Clough or anything like that, right?
Not
yet.
To somebody recently who brought him up as well.
Brought him up.
Let me check my notes.
Right. Probably Brian Tyler. I want to say I think they knew each other. I don't know if have you done Brian Tyler? You did him?
The person that I have in my notes is Tyler Snow that mentioned him.
Oh, Tyler Snow. Yeah,
one of his companions.
Yep, he was in that same area. Yeah, I think I know. Tyler Snow. I want to say he was a zone leader, like in my last 6 weeks. I think so.
That would make sense.
Yeah, I'm gonna say. Let's see. So Perth, knocking a bunch of doors. Oh, Perth. I've got a couple car stories.
Fire away.
Oh, actually, let me back up one car story in air.
You got it.
Oh man, dude. Yeah, me and car stories. So, dude, we were out and like being in a car, like we get out there and in air, it's a big area. We are hitting small little villages, just so we're going back out, we're coming back in, and I grew up in the country, Blanding, where it's out in the middle of nowhere. So you take back roads, side roads, and those little Vauxhall courses aren't really 4-wheel drive vehicles, but there's not a lot of dirt roads in Scotland either, right?
Depends on where you're driving.
Yeah, maybe so. Yeah, the area I hadn't seen very many. Everything was paved, so I hadn't seen very many. And there's this one dirt road that we had going back and forth to this one village. It was calling my name every time I pass it. I'm like, dude, I want to know where that road goes. And I'd pass it. And finally one night, I can't remember if I was on. I think I was on exchanges with Jeffrey Brown, Jeff Brown, and we got a little bit of time. Let's take this road. I want to see where it goes. So he's like, all right, sure. So we start going up this dirt road and going through some forest and stuff like that. And I'm like, and we're getting up in there a little ways. And we started to hit a little bit of some mud puddles. Like, okay, not bad. And then we started going around this corner and there's a good one. I'm like, oh, dude, we're going to hit this hard. And we're just going to go through this mud puddle and get through it. So I got up some good speed. We come around this corner and we hit it. And I didn't have enough speed. I just hit it and go, Urch! And I sink down to our axles. And dude, and we're a ways up this dirt road. I don't know, 10 miles, I don't know, a ways. And we just sink, and both of us just look at each other like, oh, son of a gun. And it's like, I want to say it's, was it midsummer or late summer? No. And it's bad enough. All I remember is the midges. You guys remember midges? Like what they call midges? Like,
Oh yeah.
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 Those things kick your butt.
Did you guys ever get attacked by them or anything? Like,
On occasion, for sure.
so we're there, and it's coming into dusk by the time I got stuck because we think, oh, we'll just go and we'll turn around and head home for the night. But we get stuck to the axles. I'm like, crap, we got to get this thing out. We're in a mud puddle. The sun's starting to go. We aren't getting that. We're like, I'm digging. We're trying to push it. We got our suits on. And we're in like literal mud puddles. Like, I remember we have our pants rolled up, our shoes and socks off, just trying to rock this car out, right?
Gosh.
Edward Brown's from Temecula, California. I don't even know if he knew what a dirt road was.
Probably not.
No, he's as city folk as you could get, and I'm trying to teach him how to cut. He doesn't know how to drive clutch either, so I'm trying to get him to pop the clutch, rock, and I'm out in the back pushing it, and we're just pushing this thing. And in the meantime, I have these midges just going all over me, and I'm just like trying to like knock them off, push the car, and get these things. Finally, I can't remember, and like he comes out, we're trying to rock it, and he's like, I can't do it, and he just went back in the car. And like I'm just like, dude, what? Like you gotta help me. It's like fine, and I think that's when he really started driving because I think I was driving their door. I don't remember all the details. We'll have to get him on and see if he can clear this up a little bit. Well, all I remember is we eventually get out of there. The sun's down, and it's probably 10 o'clock. So we're freaking out because we were supposed to be home by 9, and we're probably another half hour away. I'm like, oh, suck. Anyways.
How did you get it out? Did you really just push it out of this mud hole?
We eventually worked. I remember we worked it freaking back and forth and just dug that dirt, and it just eventually where we popped it up and over and we got out. But that's after every single, like I had red dots all over my hand. Like there was
man,
all over my face. And I think I probably have pictures, but I was red just from so many midgie bites. And it was like, oh,
Yeah.
They probably drove through their puddle and they were ticked.
Yeah, it stuck big time. Elwood Brown freaking out, getting bit, being late to call in. We finally get in, and the district leader was good enough. He kind of covered for us, if I remember right. It was Clay Stevens, and he's like, okay, dude, where the hell have you guys been? Oh, dude, I don't know. I don't.
We were considering walking home a few 10, 20 miles.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, I think we had actually. You bring it up. I just want to say we probably thought about it for a while. Anyway, so let's see. There's that car story. Let's jump back up to Perth. So Perth, I had 2 accidents in a car.
Oh my gosh!
I think the rule was if you had one accident, you got taken out of the car area. But I had mine so close together that they couldn't get me out of the area fast enough.
You did not.
Oh,
hilarious.
It was bad. Let's see. I remember we just coming down the road, and this lady was in front of me, and she kind of veered off to the right. I'm like, oh, she's going to go somewhere off to the right. But she veered off to get a better angle to come into another area and just turned, and I just, boom, plowed right into the side of her. We weren't going fast by any means. Yeah, I totaled the car and her car. They're both down.
Ouch.
But yeah, so it's like, oh, that sucks. President Wilkinson came and gave me the lecture and said, all right, we're gonna, gave me like, you're not gonna be in a car area anymore. You can't drive. But my companion didn't have. No, Clough did. No, this was after Clough. I had my new companion. I was training. That's what I was even training at that time. So there's a new missionary, freaking David Munson. Oh my gosh. Yep. David Munson, dude. That guy. David, if you're still mad at me, sorry, man. I think he wanted to kill me by the time I got moved out of that area. So there's like, dude, I'll try to keep these stories down. I'm sorry.
No, you're good. I love it.
Okay. So yeah, I T-boned a lady with David Munson in the car, and he was so upset, dude. He just got out of the car. I'm done with it. Like, yeah, I remember how upset with this. And then not more than like 2 weeks later, I rear-ended somebody because David didn't have his license. So, and it was a car area. So we got rid of that car. We got a new one. I think we got the AP's old one. It was falling apart or something, and they put it in our area. And not literally 2 weeks later, I hit somebody else, dude. And I was just like, oh gosh, it was pretty bad. And but he gave us another car, and I stayed there another 6 weeks, and I was still driving. So I don't know.
Empty threat.
Yeah, I kind of called him on his BS there. Dave Munson was done with me, though, I think after that second accident, because I think he was with me with both, and he was like, I'm done with this guy. Other than also, he was just, here's a story about Dave Munson, by the way, since I'm talking about, so I'm training. Anyways, where, in the mission home when they got all the missionaries sitting down, and then you're standing in the back and they say, and your trainer is going to be this elder. They still did that when you guys were there, right?
Yep.
So we do that. I'm sitting there, and I can't remember if I was third. I don't know. It was fairly soon, and they're like, "All right, Elder David Munson, your trainer is going to be Elder Tye Shumway." And I'm sat at the back. I'm like, Dave Munson, I know that name. Why do I know that name? He goes, well, I don't know what his face looked like, but he turns around and he's all, Tyler Shumway? My name's not Tyler, by the way, but and I was like, anyways, this kid was in my band class in 7th grade.
What?
Yeah. He was in my band class. He played trumpet. We were on the same basketball team in 7th grade. And so
what are the chances? My gosh.
Yeah. He moved to Blanding for, I can't remember, 7th and 8th grade or just 7th grade, from Escalante, Utah, of all the small little towns or tropic, 2 places right there next to each other. I think it was Escalante. Anyway, so it was kind of cool. I was like, dude, yeah, I know you. We had some good memories. He knew Blanding. I knew him for basketball and stuff like that. But the good Lord had the good sense to give me a greenie just like I was. Somebody that actually not kind of like I was. He was a little bit. I'm more of a spirit kind of guy. Follow the law of the spirit, but was arrogant. And he was follow the letter of the law, and I'm going to tell you how to do it. And the first 6 weeks were pretty difficult. We had to work things out. I think I was having a good time because I was just doing our thing. We were knocking doors. We weren't successful either too much in Perth. It was knocking doors, seeing members. Did you guys ever go to the Perth area? Perth? No.
I think I drove through there briefly, but not to stay or spend any time.
Right. There was the Crooks, brother and sister Crook. They had a bunch of kids that went to like BYU and stuff like that. So I'd always go over there because we could swap stories, and they were pretty good members and good to us. There were some cool people. Actually, there was a little bit of success. A guy named Joshua Adams. Is it Joshua Adams or Joshua? I can't remember his last name. But he was a younger kid. We connected with him pretty well. He ended up I think he was already baptized, but reactivated and stuff like ended up serving on a mission. He reaches out every once in a while. I think he's still living there and doing pretty good. He's active still, but it was a good kid.
Yeah,
okay, so I don't know any other stories, but that was David Munson was sick of me, so we spent 3 months together, thing, and then I ended up getting moved from Perth to Annan. So I went back southwest corner again, almost, right? I don't know. You guys ever in the Dumfries?
I did. That's where I started.
That's where you started? So were you in Annan or Dumfries or where?
It was all one area. When I got there, they'd combined them just
really?
as I got there, actually. They went from 4 missionaries down to us 2, covering Dumfries and Annan, the whole ward.
What year was that, Zach? Or Jack? Sorry.
That was 2004.
Oh, 2004. Okay, so just like 2 years after I probably left then.
Yeah.
Maybe 3 years. Okay, how'd you like it?
It was good. I mean, that was my first area, my first exposure to Scotland. So
right,
there was Actually, our ward mission leader was in Annan. I'm trying to remember his name. Can't remember it offhand, but
Was it Ian? It wasn't Ian Campbell, was it?
it was. Yeah.
Yeah, dude. Ian Campbell. Yeah, the Campbell family. Yeah, he was gung ho. Like I love the heck out of that dude. Like,
Yeah, it was awesome.
yeah, I think Daniel Strauss baptized him like 2 weeks before I got moved to Annan.
Wow.
So I followed him, but yeah, and we ended up ended up becoming really good. So he was the first one baptized in his family, and then his wife Jillian. You probably remember Jillian, short little lady, right?
Yeah.
So there's Jillian, and then their two kids, Sarah. I don't know if you ever met Sarah. She might have been moved out by then, living in Carlisle, if I remember right. She had just moved out, but she had gotten baptized when we were there. Me and who did I serve with there? Sam Amos, Elder Sam Amos, Amos from England. Also, he was a fun guy, but he was pretty fun. But yeah, so there's Sarah, and then their son Duncan. Did you know Duncan at all?
Mm-hmm.
He
Yes, I did.
Trying to think. By that time, he was. Let's say he was 15 when he got baptized when we were there.
I might have met him actually. I think he ended up going to university like at age 16.
Yeah. Yep.
So.
Yep, he did. That was right. Yeah, he's went to Edinburgh. He's a pretty musically talented individual. I think he's married and has a kid or two now. But yeah, he was in a band for a long time. I think called Nothing But Jim or something about Jim. I can't remember, but anyways, we would talk every once in a while. He's a good kid. I really like him actually a lot. Both him and Sarah. They're just a good family. So Annan was fun. Annan's like the furthest you can get in Scotland before you get to England, right? Like,
yep.
We lived in Annan, and then Gretna Green, right? It's right on the border. Did you guys ever go to Gretna Green?
Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
I had to get the picture with the "Welcome to Scotland" sign. Welcome to England. Accidentally left the mission. My companion's like, "Oh, there's the border."
Oh, there it is. Crap. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. Always, everyone did it by accident for sure.
Yep.
So yeah, so that was awesome area. I love that area. It's great. Got to meet the Campbells. Jillian's mom. Did you ever know Mary Ross? She was an older lady.
That sounds very familiar.
She was very, very gung ho. It took us we spent a lot of time teaching her. She had so many questions. But the one thing that really got her testimony going was Ian. When Ian got baptized, she's like, why? Because Ian was a completely different guy before he became a member of church, and from where he was like changed his whole entire life. Like, she's like, something like that's the only reason she investigated the church. Is like, okay, what kind of cult is this? I get like, this is crazy. How can you turn this guy, like, she's like, my son-in-law, from this into this spiritual giant, loving everybody, just like, he was always a good guy, but completely different kind of lifestyle. And he had some horrific experience in his life. Did you guys ever know about that plane that blew up and all over
Lockerbie?
Lockerbie. Yep, Lockerbie. Yeah. He was one of the first responders in Lockerbie, picking up parts of people.
Oh my gosh, that's terrible.
Yeah, like it's when he was I think he was in his mid-20s. He was a fireman, and it just kind of destroyed his faith in any kind of God or any kind of spirit. Like, there's no way anyone can kind of do this thing. So he kind of just like, it turned him away, because he's like, this stuff should not happen to people. It was pretty horrific for him, and he would tell me that we went up there, and he shared some pretty crazy stories. Showed us where he picked up some. It was pretty vivid stuff. I was like, dang, dude. Oh.
Wow.
But it was a testament to Ian for him to do that kind of stuff, and then to find God and just be a good guy. I still don't forget. I don't think he's active anymore right now. But he's still good. We talk every once in a while. Message him. I'm actually gonna I told him just a couple weeks ago, my family's going over there in about a month from now, or 3 weeks. The whole school trip is taken over there. My wife's chaperone, so they're going over there for 2.5 weeks.
You said a school trip?
Yeah. Our middle school and high school like said, "Hey, who wants to go on this?" And my kid's like, "Oh, we'd love to." And they needed a chaperone, and I can get off work, and so my wife's like, "Oh, I'll do it," because we've gone back a lot of times. We have a lot of friends there, so
Yeah.
So my kids are
Amazing.
excited.
Oh man, that'll be great for them.
Yeah. They're excited to show because we took them back there and did a whole entire. I think we did like a 3-week tour or 2.5-week tour with them over there, and stayed with the King family in Kilmarnock, saw the Campbell family and Anna, and like just visited people. Like, to be honest with you guys, like, oh man, sorry, I'm talking too much.
You're good. Keep going, Tye.
Like, I love Scotland. I felt bad for the church, dude. Like, it was a 2-year vacation for me. Like, I felt so bad. I'm like, dude, are you guys seriously like gonna let me come here, 19-year-old kid, and just have a good time? It's that classic example. Like, I was supposed to be in Scotland because I did make so many good friends. I fell in love with the culture, fell in love with people, found people that needed to be like me and Marilyn King. We still talk once a month, maybe twice a month. Like, she's come over here. She's nannying for me. Like, when we had our first 2 kids, she came over for a month at a time and just helped take care of our kids and stuff like that. And like, she actually probably talks to my siblings and my family more than she actually even talks to me, to be honest with you. Like,
Nice.
it's crazy. Her son Matthew, he's the bishop down there. Or is he state president now? No, I think he's the bishop. But it's just one of those classics, like golden investigator kind of language. Find people there. But I loved it. I had so much fun in Annan. Ian would take us golfing once a week, paintballing, and we invite Mary. Like, as long as we had an investigator with us, I felt. Actually, I think I kind of stretch it. Is if they were non-member, I said we can do anything, and I believe I had President Wilkinson's blessing on that. I went to so many like football games and played so much golf and paintball. We did paintball a lot for some reason. I don't know why that, but we would just say, yeah, let's go have a good time, and invited anybody and just made friends with people. So that was good. Let's see, Elder Amos and Annan. Oh, and then Elder Amos was there. Like, excuse me, I have to get a drink. He was there with Daniel Strauss before I got there. And then Daniel left, and then I came, and then I left. And Sam Amos, I think he was there for 9 months.
Wow, that's a long time.
Yeah. So I left. Went from Annan, went up to Bathgate. I think I became zone leader in Bathgate with Brian Tyler, if I remember right. Yep, Brian Tyler, Livingston area, and Brian Tyler was also, I believe, from Arizona area. I loved him. He's a pretty good guy. Elder Tyler and Elder Shumway. We had a pretty good time. We had it was also a driving area too, so we were in a car. Actually, I think that's where I had my 3rd accident. Was in that area. Yeah. I think this is what kind of spurred my the last he wouldn't let me try because I only had like 3 months left when I moved to that area, and then all of a sudden I got moved 6 weeks later. Like, my last 6 weeks, I couldn't finish it out there. I think that's this last one put President over the edge. I sideswiped somebody when we were going to some conference in Edinburgh.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
On your way? So you had to tell them on your way?
I think so. Yeah. It wasn't bad, but it was enough. We had to get a police report and record it through insurance. I was a pro by then, dude. Like, all right, this is who you call. This is what we fill out. Like, I had it all done before the police even showed up. Like,
you had it in your planner. You're like, yeah, here's our information.
Yeah.
And you walk into the meeting late, and they're like, Elder Shumway, why are you late? Oh, just another accident. We're good, President.
Don't worry about it. Yeah, yeah. Oh, it was crazy. Let's
So
see.
good.
But that game, or it was good. Livingston was fun. There were some good members there. Annette, or not Annette. What's her name? Dang it. This lady, they were teaching Brian, or Elder Tyler was teaching them. We ended up baptizing her, and then her mom and her brother. And I see them every once in a while, or talk to them every once in a while. But they're good people. We had a good time there. We taught a lot there. The members helped out a lot, went to a lot of things. There's a couple other good missionaries in that area. Cooley, Elder Derek Cooley.
Derek, yeah.
Yeah, dude, I love Derek Cooley. He was awesome. I think I always think of him as on my mission. I think he even got mad at me when I told him this, so he may have to forgive me again once he sees this. But maybe not. But he reminded me of Buzz Lightyear, just the way he looked. I don't know. Did he look like that at all to you guys?
Sorry, we saw him in this box, just
Right.
just the top half of him or whatever. So
Right. But it reminded me of, I don't know if his mannerism, and his face a little bit reminded me of Buzz Lightyear. But then he talked like Woody. So it was this, in my head, it was this combination like Woody and Buzz Lightyear's body, and it was just like,
that's
but
amazing.
Derek Cooley was awesome. I love that dude. He was cool. Let's see, me and Brian there, and then there's Monty Annika was his companion. I remember we went on splits a lot and had him. I don't know if you guys have talked to Monty Annika from Canada.
Not yet. We're trying. We've heard his name a few times.
Oh yeah, I liked him. He was just new on his mission, but I remember me and him. Because I'm in classic cars, and his hometown would always have like a big classic car show, like a huge one or something like that. So I remember that about him. But he was a pretty cool guy, good missionary. Did you guys serve anywhere in like the Livingston zone or that area? Or
No.
I'm like, we're nowhere. So I'm sorry. I wish I could reminisce with.
There's no need to apologize, Tye. You're good.
All right, but that was a good area. Members were good. I remember the church was good, and then I remember being shocked. And like, I only got 6 weeks left. And I get a phone call, and they moved me down to Johnston.
I served in Johnston, so we got some reminiscence, Tye.
We had to wait till the last 6 weeks.
I was only there 6 weeks as well. So
yeah, okay. Let's see. I got moved to Johnston.
First question I have: Were you in the flat above like the shops that were on like the highway just above, like up the street from the chapel? Do you remember that?
I was not in that one. No, I think the other elders were the sisters at that time. I want to say I think it was sisters at that time, and we were in some ground flat that had a really good busing system, and it was a very small area. And I think that was the president was like, "Hey, dude, no more cars for you. I'm going to give you a small area. This is what you're going to." I really I remember now that we're talking about this, I'm like, dude, I guarantee that's why I'm here.
He called you on your last transfer. Said, "I got 2 words for you, Elder Shumway: bus pass."
Yeah, seriously. It was the first time I had been ridden a bus for like almost a year and a half. Like, close to 2 years because I was in a car in my first area.
Yeah, my gosh.
Yeah, but Johnston was interesting. I was only there 6 weeks. I got to know some of the members, the bishop there. I want to say he was an American, if I remember right.
Was it Larry Hale?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
Was he the bishop when you were there?
He was not the bishop anymore, but former bishop when I was there, because I got there, fall of 2005. So if you were there at the end of 2002, I mean, obviously, if you'd been the bishop for a while. But I do remember them mentioning that. And I actually have had quite a few recent conversations with him. Actually, he reached out to me when they announced the temple in Scotland. And so it was really nice to chat with him. He's like, "I don't know if you remember me, but I've been listening to these podcasts and I remember you." And I was like, "Hey, it's good to chat with you." So I know that Larry Hale is listening.
That is cool. Well, hey, Larry, I doubt he remembers me, dude. I was there for 6 weeks in and out.
I was too, Tye. I guarantee he remembers.
Yeah, but you make a better impression than I do.
Oh, get out of here! Get out of here!
I was not in a car, so they don't have anything to remember me by. But,
Jeez.
I do remember though. There's some crazy stuff in Johnston, like Elder Barnard was he stabbed in Johnston or somewhere else? You guys
I
know
don't
that?
remember. You're gonna have to remind us the story.
You guys not know that story about Elder Barnard and him getting stabbed like 13 times?
We haven't heard that one yet.
What?
No. Share, Tye, share.
Craig Barnard from Seattle, Washington, if I remember correctly. I got to because I think Mark served around him. He actually worked for Mark McCormack for a while here.
Okay.
He's still in Salt Lake. I actually just saw him. Oh shoot, 3-4 months ago, and I can't remember if it was 13. I just know he got stabbed multiple times, kind of thing. Because
Send him our way.
yeah, I'll reach out and send him your way.
Yeah, we want to hear it firsthand, just as well as your recollection.
I wasn't there when it happened before I got to the area, and I can't remember if it was Johnston or what's right next to Johnston. Was it Motherwell or
Paisley?
Paisley. Yeah,
You got Johnston, Paisley, Greenock. So like Port Glasgow's in there somewhere too.
Right.
And then you get further down and you got Beath.
Well, even Kilmarnock was in Paisley zone.
Yeah, you're not too far down the road because you're getting there towards Irvine and kind of that area, Kilwinning.
Yep, exactly. So literally, Irvine was my zone leader. So I started my mission at Kilmarnock. Irvine was 15 minutes away, and I ended my mission in Johnston. And so I was not more like we'd go visit the Kings. The Kings would come visit us. Like in my last 6 weeks, and it was 20-minute car ride. It was not. Yeah, so I just kind of ended up where I left. But yeah, so if I remember the story right, and Elder Barnard, and I can't remember who his companion was, but they're on a bus. They're getting off a bus, and they were going to grab a bag. And I think there's a couple stories where kids were grabbing missionaries' backpacks and taking off with them, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think they went to take, I can't remember if it was Bernard's or his companion's backpack, and he grabs it. He's like, "No, you're not going to take that." And then he got jumped by all the kids, and his companion jumped back on the bus and was like looking out the window with us. He's like, "Holy crap!" Because they just jumped on Bernard, and there's
Oh man!
And they were just freaking beating him up, kicking him, punching him, and then all of a sudden someone hears knife, and knife, and then he's just like watching this, and then Bernard I'm trying to remember because I think he told me a little bit of the story when we met a couple months ago. And then they took off, and his companion finally comes off the bus or something like, "Dude, you okay?" He's like, "Yeah, I don't know, my back, dude. They were hitting me hard." And he's like, "Dude, I think you got stabbed or something like that." And they ended up going to the hospital, and he was in the hospital. I don't know how long.
Wow, that's unbelievable.
But yeah, he got stabbed. So that was right in that area. I want to say it was in Johnston because I remember "Oh, is this the?" Because I think we took the bus route that it was on. I think, or it was close to our area right there.
Yeah, Paisley's not very far down the road, so it could have been somewhere in there.
Right there. But yeah. Bernard, you'll have to get on and give them the real version. Like that. But I remember that. Let's see.
Who was your companion in Johnston?
Oh, my companion in Johnston was Trevor Olson, Elder Trevor Olson. I think he'd only been out 6 weeks, and then he got me. And I'm trunking out, and he's just been the new missionary, and he was actually pretty good. We had a pretty good time. I'm trying to remember where Trevor Olson was from. So did you guys know him? Let's see, because I was leaving 2000, and he was just out. You may have just missed him.
Yeah, I would have just missed him.
Probably. Yeah.
Just missed him. But yeah, Trevor Olson. Not Trevor Olson. Trevor.
Trenton?
Huh?
Is it Trenton?
Trenton. Yeah, Trenton Olson.
Is it Olson? Yeah.
It's Olson, yeah. Elder Olson.
He's on my list, and I see a Trenton. I don't see a Trevor, so.
Trenton. Yeah, it'd be a Trenton then. Yeah. He was a pretty good guy. I don't know. I wasn't there too long. We had a good time. Went outdoors, rode buses a lot, heard gunshots a lot when we go to the high rises down there. I don't know, 3 or 4 times we'd come out of this high rise. I'm like, dude, that's kind of a sketchy place. And all of a sudden, we hear gunshots. Oh yeah, that is a sketch. Like gunshots. Like I'm like, what? They're not even supposed to have them. It was a sketchy area. But some good members. I think we were a couple different members. But yeah, the Hale. I remember him. I think he had us over for dinner once or twice, maybe more. And I just don't remember it. I want to say I was probably like, okay, like you moved me my last 6 weeks, I give up. I'm done. I'm not gonna. No, no, I wasn't done, but I don't have a ton of memories of Johnston.
What area of the Johnston ward did you kind of cover? Do you remember? Was it actually Johnston proper, or was it some of the outlying areas?
Give me some of the outlying areas. I want to say it's Johnston proper, but
Well, the most prominent ones for me, like Linwood was right over, I think, the motorway from that area. And then, again, I wasn't there for very long, but we got outskirts a little bit, like Howwood was one of the areas a little bit further out of town.
Linwood sounds familiar, but not Howwood.
Okay. Yeah, we didn't travel a ton there. I think we could have gone to like Bridge of Weir, but never got out there because it was a bus ride there and back, and not worth the time and the effort, at least according to my companion at the time.
Right. Yeah. Yep. No, for sure. I'm just trying to pull it in here. Like, no, there was, yeah, there was a chapel, but where's Paisley? Where's John? I'm trying to think. I kind of see something called Johnston. Black Hall, Paisley, Elders Isle. No, we were Johnston proper, I want to say, because it was a small area. I think I remember being upset quite a bit there.
Okay.
It's like, I'm going to show you. But I don't know, that's kind of my mission right there in a nutshell. I don't know, when we were in, I've just pulled up this map and looking at stuff. Did you guys ever play golf on that course next to what's the famous golf course? It just left my brain.
St. Andrews.
St. Andrews, yeah. No.
Play golf? No. Visit? Yes.
I think I conned, so when we were in Perth, we conned a couple non-members into like, hey, like, let's play golf. I'm like, yeah, let's play golf. I'll teach you about Jesus as we are playing golf. And they're like, okay, sounds like a deal. I don't know if I got, sorry, President Wilkinson, I don't know if I got permission or not on that. I think that might have been why my companion at the time might have been mad at me or something. I'm like, no, dude, I'm just saying, yeah, I was anything to teach the guys, talk about Jesus. I said, if we're talking about him and teaching it, it's okay. It's okay.
I mean, candid audience, right? I think that works for sure.
Yeah, exactly. All right. I'm trying to think if there's any other stories that you guys are going to know, because there's I don't know anything in that area. We didn't serve around each other in the areas.
Well, one question that we typically ask towards the end of our podcast is, do you have any specific memories of President and Sister Wilkinson, and that kind of stand out to you as far as your interaction with them?
Other than Elder Wilkinson, like, or President Wilkinson, like, giving me the what for lectures every time I crashed a car. Sister Wilkinson, dude, she was a sweet mission mom. Like, everyone loved her. She was good. Something that does stand out, like since I was like I watched his son Tyler Wilkinson, the real hero, like that whole thing. I'm sure that's come up a couple times.
Right.
Have you guys ever seen that movie made of him or anything?
I watched it before my mission. Yeah.
Oh yeah. See, I watched before my mission up too, and then he ended up speaking to us. Actually, the day that we ended up hearing from him was, can't remember if it was, I want to say it was day 4, because we had a 2-day zone conference with him where he came in. We all met in Glasgow, and we were there, and we heard him. And the first day, I don't remember exactly, but it was the day of 9/11 or the day after.
Oh, wow.
It was right then because we were in there. And we were. I remember after we were like, okay. I think it was the day we heard him the first day, and then it was the second day we'd finished listening to President Wilkins, and then they released us, and we were heading home. And we got out, and he was getting ready to do his other one, and we're walking down the high street of Glasgow, and all of a sudden we was it the morning of? I don't remember exactly. I want to say maybe it happened, but oh yeah, no, it happened. He told us about it, and then we were watching the replays as we were going on the TV. They just kept,
That's crazy.
Sheesh.
yeah, I just like, what? No way. Like, yeah. And we were told to go straight to our flat and we're like, what the heck? Like the whole thing. No, man. All right. Here's a question I got for you guys.
Okay.
What is your guys' feelings on when you got your mission and what you had to do on Sunday? Like,
Jackie, you go first.
Sunday wasn't Sunday to me without a big family dinner, so I just focused on getting a good DA.
okay. Right. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. For me, Sunday was like the day to go to church and then have a nap.
Right.
And every time it was gut wrenching to leave church and then go, all right, what do we do? And oftentimes I was very fortunate. I had 3 areas I was in for 6 months in duration, and we had constant Sunday afternoon or early evening dinner appointments. And so that was nice to break up Sunday, but it wasn't the same. I mean, I honestly thought, cool, this is the Lord's day. Let's take a break and kind of, breathe a little bit and rest and refresh. And it was not that way. It was hard. It was definitely a challenge, especially early on.
Yeah, no, that was exactly like my thought too. Like, dude, I was so like every Sunday that came on, I was just so mad inside. Like, why am I knocking on doors? I should be taking a nap. I should be like, I'll even go home and just study. I don't care, but I'm not knocking on doors. Oh yeah, like this is work. I'm not supposed to be working on Sunday. I was okay. I'm glad I'm in a good company today. The same thing. Good dinner, nap, kind of relax a little bit.
Yeah.
Down in Dumfries, we would go through the Annan area up to the James's house for Sunday dinner.
Oh yeah.
And we would carry on from there up to Galloway, like that area, and stay the night with the district leaders waiting for district meeting or zone conference on Monday. So
right.
that was fun, going on the back roads up to Edinburgh, basically.
Yeah. No, for sure. That is good. I do remember them. That's crazy. There's a kid from Blanding. Went on his mission to Scotland a few years before me, and those members remembered him. Javred or J-Red? Javred. Javred. But he served like in 95, I want to say. Maybe it was J-Red. Maybe it was J-Red in like 94. It was a while ago, but they didn't remember him when I was out there. They're like, oh, we know somebody from Blanding. I'm like, Blanding? How the heck do you know someone from there? It's middle of nowhere and nobody knows it. You can't. It's like you have to go off the beaten path to even get to it.
Yeah. Amazing.
Yeah.
Tye, this has been a lot of fun. Really, thank you so much for taking the time tonight. Last point of business, anyone that you'd like to call out? I mean, I'm looking at the list of people I wrote down today. We've talked to 2 people that you mentioned.
Mhm.
Everyone else, especially your companions, we'd love to have them come on. But is there anyone in particular that you want to just put on blast a little bit and say, hey, get off your couch and talk to these guys?
Man, that is a good question. Because yeah, all my companions definitely are like they're all good guys. If they haven't been on, yeah, I haven't really trying to think forgotten anybody. There's so many cool people there. I'm sure there was. There's a bunch of sisters. I don't think I really talked much about the sisters, but oh no, there's like Ian Eckleworth. He was in the MTC with us. I don't know if you guys have heard about him or not. He's an English missionary, but he lives in the States now. I think he lives over in Minnesota or somewhere around there. But Ian Eckleworth, Brian Gaines, another English guy. Elder Whistlecraft, he came into the Kilmarnock area when I was in air, and Has anyone told you any stories about Whistlecraft?
No.
That's a new name.
Oh, okay. If you can get him on there, he was a character. Paul Whistle. I can't remember what's his first name. I can't remember. But yeah, Whistlecraft. He was pretty funny. Gareth Hughes, Sam Amos. He was pretty good. We already talked about those companions. I want to say Clay Stevens. I don't know if he'd get on or not. I haven't talked to him for a while, but he was pretty cool. Sister, oh man, I see her face. Dang it. Eckenbrock. What is her last name? She's actually, I think she's married now. I'm friends with her, but I served around a couple of sisters that were pretty cool in those areas. Oh man, I see all the faces and now I can't even remember their names. Dang it! Sorry guys if I didn't call you out.
It's only been over 20 years. I mean,
Yeah, Tye, come on.
still.
Seriously. Oh, I was going to show you guys this. Like, oh, we've never. So 20 years ago, I don't. Oh, my background's blurry, but this is an old map of Scotland.
Oh man, that's awesome.
It was from it's old, like 1700s or something like that. But
Wow.
I bought it in Maui. There was a little map shop that had all these maps of Scotland in Maui, of all places, in that little town that burnt down.
Oh wow.
Interesting.
But anyways, I was like, dude, I bought that not literally like 4 months before they burnt down. It was kind of crazy.
That is crazy. But nice find to have on the other side of the world, like literally, right?
Yeah, it was kind
That's
of
pretty
crazy.
cool. That's amazing.
But anyways, I don't know, guys. This has been awesome. I did not think I would speak this much. I was like, I don't know what I'm gonna say.
Yeah, you said that to me. So how many times as we talked on the phone and been chatting via text back and forth, and I told you it was going to be a good conversation. There was no doubt in my mind, Tye. So
well, you guys
thank you for coming on.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you guys. It's been awesome. Keep up the good work. I'm sure everyone that gets to watch these, members, missionaries, just some of them get to see some of those people they haven't seen for 20 years or plus, and it's awesome. So keep up the good work and let me know if I can help you out with anything.
Yeah, absolutely. I was one of my next things I was going to say is anyone that you're still in contact with.
Mm-hmm.
Jack and I have said many times we love referrals. So send them our way. They can go to the website, which is 51spylaw.com. Hopefully easy to remember.
Mm-hmm.
There's a button at the top. It's called the contact sheet. People can fill out and put in their contact information. We'll get them on the podcast. That's if people are bold and willing to put themselves out there. The other way is put us in contact with them, whether it's you sending me contacts via text message or plugging me in with people on Facebook or whatever so that I can try and hunt some people down. That's one of my passions for sure as part of this project is reaching out to people like yourself where we don't have any connection apart from being former members of the Scotland Edinburgh Mission. So,
right. Yeah. What are you guys like, what are you going to do when you run out of missionaries to interview?
Oh, we won't.
You won't? There's quite a few.
There's there is. I mean, we have a computation list of missionaries so Chris Martin gave us his list from 2001, and then we have a list as recent as 2008. So we have all those missionaries that we're tracking down. So if you have your list, if you remember what it looks like, it had like the crest on the top and everybody's contact information, send it to me, and we might find some other ones that are before Chris Martin's time. But ultimately, we don't see an end to this. I mean, I've got a list here of almost 1,000 names, and ultimately, you're episode 172, I think. So,
right,
we're doing all right. I mean, we'll just keep on trucking. We're only a few years into this, but we don't plan on stopping. That's for sure.
Well, that's pretty cool. No, yeah, and there's still like my wife's uncle. Actually, crazy story. Sorry, real quick.
Carry on.
Well, so my wife's uncle and her aunt got called to Scotland. They're in Scotland right now.
Oh, really?
They're in the Alloway They're, yeah, I think in the Alloway area. Like, who served in Alloway? Someone did, or was in that zone.
Alloa, you mean?
Alloa, maybe
So,
Alloa.
so like Alloa Sterling Ward?
No, it's like southern, like they're still in the Edinburgh ward. What's just south of Edinburgh? What's that place?
Galloway,
Galloway.
Galashiels.
Galashiels. That's where they're at.
That
But
makes,
yeah.
okay, cool.
Yeah, so her uncle, her aunt and uncle are there. And what's crazy is this is the uncle that like in high school, I also did building trades. Like I took the building trades class and he was my teacher. So I built a house with him when I was in high school. When I got off my mission, I became his assistant. I built a couple houses with him and I also worked for him because he was a contractor. It was kind of crazy. And then all of a sudden he gets called to Scotland on his mission where,
Cool.
and then we're going to go say hi to them when the family is, and I'm going to go visit them. Like they're going to be there for 2.5 weeks, and I'm going to show up like the last week and just hang out in the Kilmarnock area and go see some people.
Yeah. What's their last names?
Enerson.
Enerson. How long have they been there? Curiosity.
They just went out in March.
Okay.
So
the reason I ask is I had the coolest experience where my nephew called me. Gosh, it's been now a couple months, but he's going to Scotland and he starts in July, and so probably be there in August.
Oh,
but
wow.
I just hope that he's not one that gets banished to Ireland for the majority of the time. He gets to kind of stay in the place that means the most to my heart. So I'm excited for him to experience that. It'll be great.
Yes. And you just reminded me of there's another kid from Blanding that served. What was his name? And I think he served around your guys' time. Do you guys ever know anyone from Blanding? Oh crap! Dang it. McDonald. Trey McDonald. Does that sound familiar at all?
No, it doesn't ring a bell. Trey McDonald.
Trey McDonald. I think that's who. I think that. Yeah, pretty sure. Because I had just gotten home from a mission, and I think like 6 months later he got called and went out or something. So I want to say he was like around your guys' time, or maybe
it doesn't ring a bell. He may have been just before us, like you said. If he just missed you, he probably was like wedged right between us.
Could have been, yeah. It's either that or it's 20 years ago. Maybe he went in there after you guys, and I felt like it was just 6 months after me. It could have been 6 years. Okay.
Yes, that's very possible too. That's for sure.
Yeah. All right, Tye, I better get off of here.
No, this has been awesome. Again, thank you so much for coming on, spending time with us, sharing your epic experiences, crashing cars, and getting stuck in the mud. It's been a lot of fun. We just want to express to you how much we love you. As our brother in Scotland, you are a choice individual who got to spend time in that land, and all of us that listen to this and participated in our missions in Scotland know how much that land means to all of us. So thanks for being our brother there and paving the way for us to do some work with the seed you planted, I'm sure.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys. Appreciate it. Keep up the great work and keep doing it.
All right, Tye. We'll give you a hearty cheerio, brother. We'll talk to you soon, all right?
Okay. See you guys.
All right, bye.